AddictingGames.com. This website was an irreplaceable part of many kids' childhoods. One could argue it pioneered the Flash game era. The rise and fall of this site is fraught with intrigue, but to fully understand how it came to be, we need to go back to Alberta, Canada, 2002. Our story begins with Bill Karamuzis, a website administrator for Alberta Health Services. He hatched this idea with recent University of Victoria graduate Ira Willie to create a hub of sorts for something they were both very passionate about. Flash games. You know the ones. Classic games like Insane Aquarium that you could easily kill an afternoon on. The original AddictingGames.com was really just a domain that linked to other websites that had games. But it was simple, easy to remember, and one of the first websites to make a list of all the Flash games out there. And I mean all of them. Because there were so few Flash games, Ira just put all of them on. The first version of Addicting Games was straight up a list of every Flash game he could find, including a couple of Java games. May 2004. But from these humble beginnings, Bill and Ira built this infrastructure around the website where you could both host games and submit games. Ira made the logo himself in Comic Sans. Real man of culture. As the website grew, they became more selective, personally playing every single game submitted to the site and either approving or denying it. One question I wanted to know was, were people compensated for these games? Honestly, it was hard to say. From what I could find, Ira Willie said, there's a huge spectrum. It depends on the game, genre, monetization method, publishing deal, etc. But honestly, when you break it down, these games weren't being stolen. Someone was just making a repository of where the games were located. So if anything, it was free advertising. That's like somebody taking a game that you made and putting a link to it on Twitter. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. They're linking to the source, to your site. January 2005. In early 2005, Ira Willie founded One More Level, another Flash game site and game publisher, to continue to expand the market. Ira Willie is actually the creative mind behind the original Free Rider game, which was published by One More Level. Yeah, that Free Rider game. I can't begin to imagine how many hours I lost to this game. December 2005. By late 2005, Addicting Games was really getting off the ground, becoming a household name online. The new site layout was slick and impactful. This is what the site looked like when I first played it many years ago. Popular comedy film site Adam Entertainment took interest in the business and offered to buy the site. While we don't know the exact amount, this sale was substantial enough to require approval under the Investment Canada Act. While I can't confirm how Ira was compensated, I do know that Bill became one of the largest shareholders of Adam Entertainment, and that Ira continued to pursue his publishing company, One More Level. This is also where we meet a man named David Williams. He was the chief marketing officer and general manager at Adam Entertainment. He spearheaded product and growth strategy for AddictingGames.com once it came under the Adam umbrella. August 2006. Adam Entertainment, and subsequently AddictingGames.com, was bought out for $200 million by Viacom, the parent company of assets such as Paramount Pictures, MTV Films, and Nickelodeon Animation Studios. Bill Karamuzis, owning a large stake in Adam Entertainment, was compensated handsomely. At this point, Bill stepped away from AddictingGames.com to focus on a new project, one that would also be a huge hit. During the buyout of Adam Entertainment, Dave Williams was hired on as the general manager of Nickelodeon's games business, which included AddictingGames.com. He led the project team through the acquisition and successful integration into Viacom when they purchased Adam Entertainment. AddictingGames.com was now his baby, and he wanted to see it grow. February 2007. Under Dave Williams' guidance, Addicting Games became the #1 independent gaming site for teens, growing its library to more than 3,000 games. 2007 was the year of Flash games. February 20th, 2007, Slap Me 2's The Impossible Quiz released. If you didn't know these answers, your middle school days were numbered, kid. You were never gonna make it during computer lab. In March, we saw the release of the original Bloons game, developed by Ninja Kiwi. This would spark an international phenomenon and become one of the most recognizable games ever. In December 2007, publisher Snubbyland released the world's hardest game to great commercial success. Where could you play all these amazing games? AddictingGames.com. June 2008. Nickelodeon is going all in. They invest $100 million into the casual games space, meaning sites like Addicting Games and Shockwave. While Ira and Bill might have founded Addicting Games, it was Dave Williams who guided it to its highest peak ever, and he had no intention of slowing down. January 2009. The website was redesigned to more closely align itself with Nickelodeon's cartoons, another widely popular Viacom asset, along with receiving a fresh coat of paint. June 2009. It's time for the first ever Nickelodeon Addicting Games Showdown. This was a show on Nickelodeon that would air in segments in between other TV shows that were popular at the time, like iCarly and True Jackson VP. It would nominate certain games based on the website in categories like Most Courageous Stickman and Best Game from Planet Awesome. Then, the viewers could vote from each of the nominations. The 2009 event was hosted by iCarly's Jerry Trainer, and he would have two people accompany him who would watch the votes. Each time one of these commercials would air, there would be another winner announced for each award, eventually leading up to the highest honor obtainable, the most addicting game on the website.
These games are so addicting!
In 2009, the award for most addicting went to... who else? The world's hardest game, which was widely popular at the time. As for best game from Planet Random, well, we actually still have the footage from that. Take it away, Jerry.
The award for best game from Planet Random goes to Tattoo Artist!
More awards are on the way.
June 2010. The second Nickelodeon Addicting Games Showdown takes place. I could barely find any information about this one, besides the logo and when it aired. If you know which game won most addicting that year, please let me know. April 2011. Disaster strikes. By that, I mean Dave Williams leaves the company, going on to create Embly, a mobile and web social commerce startup based in San Francisco. Dave left to go get milk, and he never came back. This leaves AddictingGames.com without its guide, and marks the decline of the website. January 2012. Addicting Games gets another makeover, doing away with the iconic Comic Sans font. They leaned in hard to their Nickelodeon branding, and began to integrate more advertising to boost revenue from site visits. June 2014. Addicting Games continued to decline steadily due to the rise of the mobile phone and phone games. More and more kids were spending time on their phones over spending time on the computer. So, what happened to Addicting Games? Well, Viacom traded it for a large stake in a company called Defy Media, a digital media firm and YouTube partner. These guys were now the owners of AddictingGames.com, and they just let it die. The next few years would be filled with drama and turmoil for Defy Media. March 2018. Defy Media laid off 8% of its workforce, in addition to a number of other sketchy business dealings. It was clear this company was headed for ruin. In November 2018, Defy Media shut down without any notice. They laid off their workers without warning and have held ransom the money earned by the YouTube creators who were in their network. A few months later, it was revealed by Defy Media's former head of audience development, Matthew Patrick, that the company stole $1.7 million from him and other YouTubers. He claimed that the company was a Ponzi scheme and was using YouTube creators' money in order to look more attractive to outside investors. There are tons of videos that go deeper into this on YouTube. But hang on, what does this have to do with Addicting Games? What happened to them? Well, back in July 2018, a familiar name popped back onto the scene. Could it be? No way. Is that?
Don't mind me, just cleaning up.
Oh, never mind then. That's right. Bill Karamuzis returns. Here's what happened. It was a sunny Tuesday afternoon, and Bill was reminiscing about his time working on Addicting Games. He figured he'd fire up the old computer and see how the site was doing. An error. Well, that can't be right, he thought to himself. So he decided to reach out to Defy Media and ask about it. They probably won't respond, he thought, but worth a shot. However, they did respond, and they were willing to sell addictinggames.com. So, Bill bought the company back. After 13 years, he was back in the driver's seat at Addicting Games, and he got to work turning things around. September 2020. Bill and his small team of staff members worked on porting over all the Flash games to either Java or HTML5, as Adobe's Flash Player was to be discontinued at the end of 2020. They acquired Mope.io and added it to the site. They wanted to make Addicting Games educational and fun, something teachers wouldn't mind students fiddling with during their free time. December 2020. Adobe Flash Player is discontinued. Rest in peace, old friend. By the way, what's Ira Willie doing? He sells real estate now, and makes videos about it. Go check him out if you're into that sort of thing. September 2021. Enthusiast Gaming Holdings acquires Addicting Games for $34.4 million. And Bill Karamuzis becomes president of the corporation. They continued to target education, making a name for themselves as a casual educational activity site. September 2023. Bill Karamuzis, having done his due diligence to restore Addicting Games to something respectable, tenders his resignation as president of Enthusiast Gaming. As for what the future holds for this old website, only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, it's Flash Game February, so I've got a couple more videos coming out on the subject. I'm talking about the exciting world of Ohio-based Flash games. Yeah, those exist. And I'm recreating the world's hardest game as a 3D first-person game. Stick around, it's gonna be fun. And I'll see you next time.